So everybody is familiar with the SRS document now? Any questions from anybody?
Clear, Satya.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. First, let us take some brief about the stages which we are passing by. Yesterday we have came across this requirement analysis topic, right? So everyone are clear about that. What is requirement and how to understand it, how to make the major points related to testing. We understood yesterday. So in this STLC life cycle, the next steps are test planning, test case development, test environment setup, test execution, and test closure. So, okay, by the term planning, we can understand that we are planning something, but what we are planning. So, based on requirement, what we have gone yesterday, what we have gone through yesterday. So, there we have clear inputs that what we need to validate, right? So, from there, what we need to do first, from the requirement analysis, first thing is what environment we are testing. The second thing is what type of testing and what type of testing is required for that particular project. So these things we will discuss with the team peers, whoever is going to the test team allocated. So at the requirement analysis phase itself, how many resources are required also we should come up with. So for example, for the yesterday's banking project, we estimated a resources testing resources like 3 resources. Okay. So for 3 resources per day, how many hours they're going to work? And how much work we have for that work, how many hours we required to test, to complete the testing. So these points we need to make sure in the test planning stage. How many resources are required? How many hours we need? And what is the deadline? Based on the deadline, how many hours we have? For example, to complete the testing, we have 5 working days. For example, let's say 5 days means 8 hours per day. If we calculate 8 5s, how many hours? 8 5s? Can anyone say?
40.
So we have 40 hours to complete testing and hand over the test cases execution to the team, to the manager, whoever it is. Right? So in that 40 hours, how many resources are required? First point we got is, okay, we have 40 hours to complete so on so project testing. So in that 40 hours, for example, if we are taking 3 resources in the sense, let's say, like we will calculate for 40 hours of deadline. First step we need to do is how many hours required for us to complete the testing. For that, what we need to do? We need to plan test cases and estimate each test case execution time. For example, yesterday we do have, do anyone have that PPT open, yesterday's one? Requirements we have, right, yesterday?
That SRS documents you was telling.
Can anyone share that document?
Yeah, I'm sharing it.
Yeah, do you have that?
The yesterday's document, right?
Yes, same.
Oh, I think he joined. He shared.
So can you scroll down to test validations or else, okay, yeah, stop by here. So here, for example, let's say in this specific requirements, we have 2 roles, manager and customer. So let's say we have around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Total how many boxes we have here?
So these are modules, okay? So if we say new customer is one module, edit customer, delete customer, new account, edit account, all are modules, okay? So scroll down, you can see how many are there for manager, okay? So almost like 15 we have for manager. Okay. 6 for
So total we have around 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15. So we have 15 for manager and 7 for other person, right?
customer.
Customer. 6 for customer. So 21 modules we have if we are segregating in this way. So out of 21, for each module, again, there were some validations, right, which they mentioned in the document. So roughly, if we calculate, like I'm giving rough calculation, but when you're actually doing, you should, for example, if I'm taking new customer, manager role, new customer, scroll down a little bit, Abhinav. For new customer, they have given some description, right? A little bit down, 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 down. We have attributes, right? What attributes needs to be given? Yesterday we have gone through to go there.
So for new customer, only manager can do, right? So only one user here, one role.
So can you scroll up? Can you scroll up? You have crossed it. Yeah, these are the attributes, right? Go to the new customer attributes, little up. So in the new customer manager module, under manager, we have a new customer role, new customer functionality. Under new customer functionality, what attributes we have? Customer name, gender, date of birth, address, city, state, PIN, telephone number, email ID, submit, receipt. These are the attributes we have, and how these attributes should be also mentioned below, right? Can you scroll down? Yeah. So customer name should be numbers not allowed, like special characters are not allowed. So there are some conditions how the customer name should be and how address type should be, how city should be, like each and every attribute, parameters, and what is expected type is mentioned here. So this information we got for the new customer under manager role, right? And scroll down. We have test validations, right? Technical are these which are followed by the developers while developing. And when we are testing, we also need to make sure while doing the functionality validations, those types are as expected in the requirement. Okay, scroll down. We have functional validations for the new customer. Go to the new customer, for example. A little down, down, down. Functional validations, new customer. Yeah, new customer. So what validation they're expecting here? If same email ID exists in the system shows an error. And what are the roles they mentioned in the table, right? For as a new for the new customer under manager, what for manager what it should be? Some role they have given, some permission they have given for the new customer to the manager. So all these things we need to consider into our plan, and then accordingly we need to segregate test cases. Okay, for example, for new customer, they say that for a manager, they should have access to the new customer, and that whatever mentioned in the table, the role how it should be, that is one test case. And for the new customer, what should be the attributes and what are the tags, that should be another test case. And what ultimate validation we are doing here? The same email ID exists in the system shows an error. If we are trying to provide the same email ID to the system from the input, it should not accept. It should show some validation message pop-up saying this email ID already exists. So here itself, we can do positive testing, negative testing as well. So positive testing means we will give invalid email ID and then expect not a valid. I mean, we are giving first time, if we're considering positive test case, first we will give new email ID and then the system should accept. That is positive. The next test case should be invalid, negative test case. Negative test case in the sense we are giving something which is out of boundary. So if we are giving invalid email address, here it is not mentioned anything about invalid email address, right? What they say, if the email ID is exist, then the system shows an error. If doesn't exist, it will accept, right? Those two test cases anyhow we write. But when it comes to negative testing, we should think out of boundary. What if I give some invalid email address instead of gmail.com or yahoo.com or something else? We give some .in or something which is not a proper format of an email address. Like that, we have to think multiple test scenarios and multiple test cases and estimate time for that execution. When you run first execution, since this is first time for you people, for to execute one test case, you take a time, sit, and then check without interruption how much time it is taking for you to execute that particular test case. Okay. So for example, let's say to execute in the sense nothing much, like for example, if I say that validate test case, which you are giving email ID as a username and password as whatever you define password, and then click on submit and then verify the test case whether you are logging into the welcome page or not. So that is the test case if you write. Then when you are executing, how much time it is taking for that? You will get some estimation, right? Maybe let's say 3 minutes. So likewise, for example, let's say we have around 40 test cases for our application. By paring down all these into a note, 40 test cases, and each test case we estimated around 4 minutes. We should always give half minute or 1 minute as buffer time, because while executing you may come up with some network issues or something like that, right? So considering that, we have to allocate some time for each and every test case. So 40, let's say for 5 minutes, like each test case we are executing 5 minutes. So we have 40 test case and 45 is how much? 45 is 200, right? You guys are with me?
Yeah.
Yes, true.
So 200 minutes we require to complete finish of testing for this particular project. So far you're with me? Understood? Any doubts? Okay. So 200 minutes we need to complete this testing. 200 minutes means how many hours?
3 hours,
For
20
3 to
minutes.
4
3.5
hours.
hours, let's say 4 hours.
Yeah.
So 4 hours we require to complete 40 test cases. Since this is a big project and the timeline also more, we can enlarge our test cases instead of shrinking it to one particular test case for the new customer itself. If we are coming up with 15 test cases like that, so maybe we required around 40 hours. Okay, let's say 50 hours we required to finish off this testing. Okay, so 50 hours we require. How many hours we have to come? Like the deadline is how many days we have? We said right in the initial test 40 hours. 8 5 40 hours. So we have 5 days to come. Okay, let me note down. Okay. I will share my screen. Can you stop sharing? Thank you. Let me open some notepad. Okay. So you guys can see my screen, right?
Yes.
So project deadline is mentioning in another 40 hours. Okay. So now how many test cases we have? Accordingly, how much time we have given allocated for each test case, and total. So let's say to complete our test execution, we need around 60 hours, let's say. And only to execute, it takes 60 hours. But if you observe the PPT, there are some stages, right? Like test planning, test execution, and defect tracking. If test case is failed or pass, again what happens, we need to create a defect. So in here itself, test planning phase will be there. For this also we need to allocate some time. Test creation in the sense, now we have just gone through the requirement document and we were considering new customer and what test cases could become. There we were saying under manager, new customer will be there. That table validation we need to do. And under new customer, attributes validation. And after attributes, what types it should be, how it should be. The type we are testing here. And under new customer, email ID login. Here again, we will get some valid, invalid. Out of boundary. So like that, we can give number of test cases according to our convenient. First, we will give valid email ID, valid password, invalid email ID, invalid password, and whatever the fresh email ID we gave, the same email ID we will give and try whether it is throwing an error or not. And we will give some invalid email address like which is not in a format of email. So like that, multiple test cases we can write here, right? So around this is what called test case creation. We will keep some note in an Excel. I will tell you in going forward how to manage a test case in an Excel format. So that creation also will take some time for us. Only for execution, if we are considering 60 hours, and for test planning, let's say 5 or 6 hours. Test creation, again, it will take to document all the test cases what we are coming up with. It may take around 20 hours, we can say. So total how many hours so far? 25 plus 60, 85 hours we required, right? And then test case creation is done. While executing, we got some defects. It's obvious, right? When we are executing test case, that time only we will get to know if any defects are present. Let's say if I'm giving the email ID which I'm already which is already existing in the system, but still it is accepting without throwing an error. It's a defect, right? So immediately we have to make the defect created in some ticket management tool. Let's say Zira, and then there we have to give some efforts. So for defects and all, let's say if we are considering around 15 hours. So 85 plus 15, how many hours? 100 hours. So overall, let's give some buffer time like 120 hours. Overall, we required to complete the project according to our test plan. So we required 12 hours, but how many hours we have? 40 hours. This is the deadline. Deadline can't be changed. Okay. They will set some deadline. According to the deadline, we need to manage our tests and then execute based on that. So now we have 40 hours. For example, let's say Varsha is in this project and she estimated 120 hours to complete this project, but the project deadline is only in next 40 hours. So Varsha, what you will do at this point of time? You need 120 hours, which is more than the deadline hours, right? At this time, what can be done?
Resources can be added.
Very good, very good, very good. So here itself, we will understand how many resources we are required to complete this project. This is what resource planning. So under resource planning, how we can estimate a resource, how many resources required, testing resources required for this particular project, how we can calculate according to this. First, we will estimate some plan. Since this is just an estimation, we should always take some buffer time. Okay. Though it's completing within 100 hours, let's say it's just an estimation, we should always add some buffer time. So I have added some around 20 hours as a buffer time because I'm not yet known like what exactly can happen, right? Based on the results also. For example, if I'm giving this work to Abhinav or someone, he can complete within 2 minutes my test case. But if I'm giving to someone else who doesn't know, like it's just first combo for him and he will take time to execute, in that case for him definitely it needs 5 minutes, right? So while doing estimation, we definitely give some buffer time. So based on this one required 120 hours, but we got 40 hours. So how many resources we required based on this calculation?
3.
So we need 3 resources to finish off this testing to deadline and hand over our test completion project. So now we got 3 resources. So under test, the second stage after test requirement analysis is test planning. This is called test planning. How many resources we required, how many test cases are going to be, and what environment we are executing. Since this is like banking system project, this should be having some URL, right? Based on that itself, we will log in or we will have some DB testing as well here. When you say that some documentation they are preparing, it says that attributes and types and all, we can estimate that this is going to be having some DB testing, right? Database testing. By seeing those things itself, we can understand. This database testing might be required. Some functional testing might be required. And system testing. So I think in the previous sessions, we have gone through what is system testing. Can anyone let me know what is system testing? That's okay. Whatever you understood, you can try to convey. If it is wrong or right, no need to think. I'll correct you people. That's okay. Anyone? Whatever you know, just tell me. What is system testing? Who is there here? Mohini? Mohini?
Yes.
So what is system testing according to you? What you have understood from the explanation in the previous sessions?
The system testing is level of software testing where we complete the integrated software product that is evaluated to ensure the meets of specified requirements.
Okay. So in normal, if I'm trying to understand, so we have database testing in one system. It's like if let's say if we are taking an example of Flipkart, there we have payment. Flipkart site, if we take, there we have many parts, right? Like we see some URL in the front end, and at the front end, if you see some URL, there will be some designs, right? Like right side something will come, left side something will come. Sometimes ads will come in between. So these kind of different multiple things is there. Ads will be there. Some products will be there. And in products, video types will be there. And just pictures type will be there. And then after that, some process we have, like once we adding product, then checking out, then coming to payment, then finishing order. And after that, tracking order. Again, there itself many functionalities will be there, like assigning some delivery partner to you, and then delivering to you. After delivered, checking by you. After that, again, if you don't wanted that product to be at home, then you will again so like it's again further process. Let's cut that all process, but let's say these are the steps we are taking. Here we consider each and every step as some particular module here. Okay, the developer finished this adding product module and he tested that unit test there, and then at checkout he finished his code and then he verified checkout. And while coming to testing also, what we do, adding product functionality, the product is getting added or not, we will check. Okay, that functionality check over. Checkout functionality over. Payment functionality over. Place order functionality over. We verified and we certified. But there is a connection between adding and checkout steps, right? You guys are with me?
Yes.
Okay. If anyway you feel like you're not understanding something, please stop me and I'll explain you to make it better. Okay. So there is a connection between adding and checkout. So when you click on add a product, you can add multiple products. In the end, you will click on go to cart and then click on checkout. And you will verify all the added products in the cart and then click on checkout. Okay, this particular functionality we verified, this particular functionality verified, but together we need to verify, right? When we click on add, whether we are able to land it to checkout page or not. It is connecting us to checkout page or not. So this kind of testing we call it as integrated testing. The testing what we have done for this particular module is called functionality testing. So this integration testing, this integration testing, this integration testing together, again we integrate these two systems, and overall in the end we will test whole flow. We will add, we will check out, we will do payment and place order. This whole together called as system testing. Integration testing can be done between two systems, two particular modules, whether those two are interconnected or not. System testing can be done throughout the flow. Now you understood what is system testing, what is integrated testing, and what is functionality testing.
Yes.
Any doubts here? Or should you people wanted me to repeat? Any answer?
Understood.
Okay, let me ask someone. Chinna? Is Chinna with us?
Yes, yes, I am with you.
Okay, so what is system testing as per this example? What you understood? That's okay. You can tell any answer. If you are not understanding, I'll correct you back.
Like I understood like that make sure that that their work as a complete and like adding checkout payment and place order.
So throughout the flow, from the beginning to ending, the flow is working or not between
Yeah.
two different modules.
Yes.
Here we have different modules, right?
Yes.
Combining together, we finish testing. We do one round of testing. That is called system testing. Testing between adding page and checkout page is called integration testing. Like checking
Yes.
two particular modules are working when they are connected with each other or not.
Okay.
If you people wanted to hear even more simple example. So when we are logging into any portal, what we do, we will give username and password, click on submit and land into some page, right? Okay, that page and the next page is connected with something. That is why when we're clicking on submit, we are navigating to the next page, right? So there is some integration testing should happen between them. Okay, for example, we are like tested, like we have given different kinds of usernames, different kinds of password and tested that particular page. But to navigate to the next page is what we are doing integration testing. Just I'm giving simple example to make you understand. while we are doing testing, right, you people definitely understand the concept which I'm trying to convey.
In the
Okay?
in the simple way, end-to-end functionality, is it?
Yeah, end-to-end testing is called
Yes.
system testing.
Yeah. So what end user is expecting is system testing, right? Suppose your phone. Okay, what is
Okay.
your system testing in the phone? So as a user, you can able to call, you can do whatever, right? You need to do the complete system to be ready, right? So the system testing is another type called see housewarming example. Okay, so until unless your house is not ready, can you go inside and stay? No, right?
No,
No,
no.
Why?
because our swarming was not completed.
Because that is not expected. Because your expectation is whatever you planned before, right?
Yes.
But without your plan, okay, we are not meeting your requirements, or your house is not ready as per your plan. Do you think is it completed?
No.
No.
So that means system is not ready. So we are not going to do anything. So until unless everything is completed, we say system is completed. Now we are good to go. Then what you do? You will go inside home and you will test each and every piece of your home. And end of the day, you can able to do kitchen, do cooking, do sleep. So whatever everything has to be done by you, right? Then only you get to know that system is completed. Everything is done. That is called system testing. It's a very easy example. Okay, clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
you guys need to join in another 1 minute. So this session is going to end. Yeah, we can rejoin, guys, again. Can you rejoin again? Yeah, Anu, you have anything still or?
Just a finishing off in another 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah, then after that, my guys can want to take some today.
Automation.
Yeah, he will take some automation. Then,
Okay, fine. Just a finishing off. So this is the home page, right? To log in one page and then we will land into this home page. Then we will click on card. So different modules. I'm just picturizing you here. Login page is one module, and this welcome page is another module. Cart is another module. So each and every module, whatever testing we do, that is called functionality. When we are clicking on submit, we are landing to this home page. That is called integration, because we are testing two modules together, like welcome page and then home page. And then when we adding to some product and clicking on some, for example, let's say I'm adding some electronics here. So I have added this one here. Okay, this is added. We are still at the same page, right? We are still at the same module. When we click on go to cart, so this is different module. This is cart page, right? So here we are landing up. When we click on place order, we will go to some other page. That is different module. So first thing is we complete all the testing here. Adding multiple products, we see how this is working. Removing one product, we see how it is working. And then add some items, we see how it is working. This is all considered as functionality testing of that particular module. So when we're connecting with some other page, that is called integration testing. And completing, finishing off order till the submission is called system testing. Hope you people understood that. While we are doing test plan and executing test cases, I will again repeat this concept so that it will be little clear with you people. So in the end, after test plan, everything, what we're gonna do? So test planning is over. How many resources are required? What needs to be tested? What types of testing needs to be done? Everything we came up, and where we need to test. It may be at the DB, which for that we need some DB logins from the manager, and then we need access to the URLs. You can't directly go and test that particular URL, right? First thing is you need certain access to log in it. So those requirements we will need to plan at the test planning phase. What credentials we require? Credentials are nothing but that, like whatever are the systems we are trying to access during testing, those access we should require. So at the test planning itself, we should make a note that so and so application access we required, so and so application credentials we required, and these many resources we required, these many hours we need to work. So based on that test planning, we will do test case development. So we will keep that test planning into consideration of some Excel format of creation, test case creation. So after creating test case, this can be done only like theoretically. I will explain you how to create a test case and how to execute. For now, let's go to the theoretical part. So test case development, after that, test environment setup, which is nothing but whatever credentials we got, whether we are able to access or not with that credentials. And then based on that, once we are ready with all the prerequisites like test cases and where we need to execute and all, we will start executing the test case in that particular environment. Based on pass or fail status, we will raise defects and track them in different tool called Zero or some other bug tracking tool. And then based on the status of defects, again, we will re-execute our test cases. And then in the end, by the project deadline, we will make sure that all the test cases are passed or informed what is the requirement gap in that particular test case execution. And then we will close the test case and we will submit our whole test completion project to the further steps. So far, this is like test planning and execution and all. Tomorrow, maybe I will try to show you some example test case, how to create and then how to execute, so that you will get some clear picture about what is test plan and execution. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Anu. So let me go through in a little, just 5 to 10 minutes about strategy and plan. Then after that, Mahesh can take up. Okay. Is it okay for everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So this is called. Today we are going to talk about test strategy and test plan. Okay. So anybody know the meaning of strategy? What is strategy? Some people say business
We
strategy.
need to, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
When we need
Mm-hmm.
when we need to execute anything with help of some methods, that is called strategy.
See, usually we used to listen some things from outside, right? See, you have a very good business strategy. You have a very good business plan. So,
It's
have
like a
you?
plan.
No, no. So, yeah, have you heard these words from anybody? You have very good business strategy. You have very good business plan. So, what does it mean? I'm just asking out of scope, guys. So, forget about testing. I'm just asking general question.
They have a good
The
idea about the product, what they want.
No, but they say that is called test strategy, test plan. Okay, so I'm talking about business strategy, business plan. Anybody can explain?
a good business strategy that can give us benefit, good benefit for that business.
Then what about business plan?
How to access the specific role or specific product in that business, that the planning of that space to handle that product, that is called best mm, planning.
Okay, so yeah, let me give an example. So now I'm planning to start my restaurant. Okay, or else like I want to start some ice cream parlor. Okay, take an example. I want to start one ice cream shop. So do you think where I can start this ice cream? Is it in a cold place or it is in a hot place?
Hot place will be beneficial more.
Yeah. So my strategy is wherever schools are located, wherever the home community, wherever shopping malls. So these places I need to plan my business, right? I can't plan somewhere in the forest, right? Somewhere in the sea. I can't plan somewhere in the cold places. So my always target is in summer I want to make uh, more quantity. Like so I want to do. So I want to start in a different branches and what are the products I want to launch, which is different from other people. okay, and which locations I need to choose. So I need to apply different strategy. Okay, what age people can eat what kind of ice cream. So I should understand the market, right? So after that, what I will think, I need to plan how much budget I need. Okay, how many employees I need for starting a business, right? So how many hours I need to work on this one. Okay, so now that is called business plan. Business plan means how much budget, how much price, how many people can come, how many sales I can expect, everything, right? So that is a business plan. Strategy means where I need to start, how to start, okay, what are the good places. So that is called strategy. So my strategy is different than other people. If me also selling the same type of ice cream, other people also selling the same different, then no, but I don't have any strategy, right? So I need to apply a different strategy. So in testing also, first test strategy will come. So test strategy means, so what method you are following, whether you are into agile or you are into the waterfall, what model it is, okay, what strategy you are following. So you need to give it. So test strategy in other way, that high level document, guys. Okay, this is very high level document. Same like your house plan. Okay, suppose I want to build a big community like a apartment. Okay, so in my apartment I need a big plan, right? So apartment plan means I should know that where I need to build my house, apartment. So I need to apply strategic techniques, right? So wherever house market is good, wherever people choosing the right place and which is nearby all the superstore markets, everything, and also transportation, then I need to apply the strategy where I need to build my apartment. So after that I need to make a how much land is required, everything I need to get into the picture, right? The same way for testing, test strategy is a high level document where all business things like, okay, how much business, what business it is, okay, how many modules will be there. So this product so they will talk everything in the test strategy. So I'm going to explain what are the steps will be there in the test strategy. Okay, so test plan is, suppose I just completed my house plan, now I need to start my ground floor. So for ground floor also I need a plan, because I can't deliver all my houses in 1 year, right? So first floor will take 1 month. So I will talk to my people that, okay, this sprint we are going to complete our first floor. So the first floor plan is, so there are this many things we need to do it in the floor. Okay, in the first floor, how many rooms will come? So we need to segregate and we need to create a plan for first floor, right? So that is called test plan. That is called floor plan. Got it? So test plan is, so which method, which regression, okay, so when are we going to start these modules, which modules we are covering, what is our entry and exit criteria, okay, how many defects may come, how many resources are working. But when it comes to test strategy, what tools you are using, what automation you are using, okay, what technology, what methodology you are using, whether you are using a black box or white box or combinations, or what type of tools you are going to use for automation, Selenium, Cucumber, or else what. So if I use Selenium, what is the rate? Okay, whether I'm going to get a good people in the market or not, I need to see all my balance perspective. So suppose if I'm going to choose some RPA, or else I want to choose Python. Okay, but the Python resource cost is too high in the market. What is my need? So my minimal cost, how much I can build my project, that is what I will try to get into the lowest price, right? So then I can plan in the high level. So test strategy will talk about what type of testing you're doing, whether you are covering functional, non-functional, performance, stress, or any mobile testing. So we need to define in the test strategy. But when it comes to test plan, we are not going to talk all this. We will talk only within the scope of that particular release. So whatever you are going to talk with respect to that particular release, that is called test plan. But you are talking about the whole project, that is called test strategy. Everybody clear?
Yes.
Okay. If somebody asks you, you need to say what is test strategy means, high level document. Clear, guys? So here the all matter will be there. So who is going to do, okay, project manager, development team, test team, key team, technical team, logistic, user, sponsors. So whoever is part of this product, everybody comes under the test strategy. But test plan, only it will talk about the particular module. Suppose this module I'm going to work only for the login page. So login and sign up page is my this sprint release. So my test plan is only within that scope. Okay, login page and registration page. which team is working on the login, which team is working for the sign up, what test data you need, okay, how many test cases are required, whether do you need regression plan or not, okay, or are you doing any other testing in that. So that is called test plan, because you are talking within the scope, so within that particular sprint. But when it comes to the strategy, we are going to talk, so this is the audience of people, okay. So the objective is understand the test strategy, understand the test strategy inputs and deliverables, okay, understand the typical test issues related to risk and mitigations, okay, understand the test entry and exit criteria, because see, what is my entry criteria, what is my exit criteria. Entry criteria is I should get all my test cases to be ready, okay, I should have all the tools to be ready to work. If I don't have a laptop, but even though I want to start my project, can I start? No, it's a risk, I don't have asset. So my exit criteria, I should have a proper laptop, should work for my project, then that is my exit criteria. Guys, clear? So we will talk further what is exit and okay. So I don't want to explain all this, but I want to take you to the small project, guys. Okay, this I'm going to upload in the PPT, you guys can read out. So this will go to the lead people, okay, whoever test leads, they should have a very strong knowledge on the test strategy, okay. But junior people, if you know that, that is really good, but if you don't know, try to explore about test strategy, okay. So now I'm going to talk something about one project, okay. So let me take an example. Now I got a one project, okay. So that is called mobile. One customer came, suppose some hospital came, Apollo, okay. They said, hey, I need a baby app, so because I want to monitor the entire baby, what is going on from baby side, okay. So but this is like a app, okay, for mobile. So then what we usually do, we need to create a test strategy, right? So our strategy means what is our high level plan. So now if you see my objective, my testing phases and test management, what are the risk assumptions and dependencies, what are the test deliverables, what is the testing milestones, right? So these are the topics. So in test strategy only, these are the topics will be there, okay. Now let's go to the objective. So the primary objective of test strategy is to provide the visibility of the testing approach early in the project life cycle, so that the project teams and the business will have a clear understanding of proposed testing process. Clear? Okay, so suppose I don't need any automation people for my project. This is only manual testing. So that was defined in the test strategy, so that these people will hire only manual people, not automation. Because why should I pay extra money for automation people? Because this project is only purely for functional testing, right? So these based on the test strategy only, the project will decide. Clear, guys? So define the testing approach. What approach you are following? Agile? You need Scrum or you need Agile, or just it's a 1 week, 1 month project, or this is a long-term project? How many sprints are required? We need to give PI plannings and everything. Okay. So after that, we should come into the testing phases. Okay, how many? So if it is a testing phases, what are the entry and exit criteria? Specific the test management. Okay, what tools you are going to use? Are you going to use Jira, or are you going to use X-ray plugins? Are you going to use any environments? Like how many developments you need? You need a key environment, you need a stage environment, you need some production environment to validate. So then they will calculate. Okay, suppose if you need a DevOps CI/CD pipeline integration, so how much it cost for this project? Okay, for Jira plugin, whether we have that software in our system or not, we need to check each and every piece, environment requirements, test managements, okay, and also what are the assumptions and dependencies for this project, okay. In case your server is not working, your server is not working, then whatever the testing team is ready, but the DevOps team is not ready because your server is not ready, then how the URL work, right? So that is your dependency. Clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so now we
Yes.
are going to talk about testing phases. The application will be tested through different approaches, like what method you are following, whether you need to define each and everything. So this is a baby app. I'm expecting within 3 months I need to deliver this. Okay, sorry guys. So my scope is all features of functionalities of the baby app will be tested individually and jointly will be modeled through positive and negative and destructive test cases. So I need to test all my baby app through positive and negative. So somebody was developed, some other company, TCS companies developed all the baby app. Now this project came to H&SS Global and they are asking us to valid to do all testing. So from our company side, we need to create a test strategy document. Then this is what I'm going to talk now. Okay, so now TCS is completed the development. Now HNS Global, the entire testing team is going to work on this project now. So what is our scope? What is our out of scope? See, for this baby app, we have committed because it's very low budget, and they said we need a minimal testing. Then we said, see, boss, we are okay to test all positive, negative, and destructive testing, but out of scope, performance and security and data migration and localization, operational readiness testing we can't do, because if I want to be do performance testing, I need to hire a performance people and I need to create a separate environment for performance. You need to pay extra for this. For security testing also we need a different security things, so we need a special team for this to test. So if you are okay, I don't have any, so I can provide you this service as part of this testing. So then localization, so like what are the languages, which country you are targeting. Okay, if it is in India, usually they will ask English and Hindi. Okay, if it is in Canada, they need a French and English. In the US, Spanish and English. So that is the localization. Okay, and what are the other operational readiness testing? So and functional automation of the application is out of scope, so we are not taking any automation for this project. Clear, guys? So in the functional testing, what is our test phases? Okay, we are going, so in the testing side, in functional, we are okay to do smoke testing and feature testing and browser device compatibility testing, because this is a app, right? So after that, for integration testing, what is my entry and exit criteria? Integration test plan, review and sign off. Okay, integration test cases reviewed and sign off. Future testing is completed. Initial test data is prepared and loaded successfully into the environment. Then only I can start my testing. If test plan is not ready, if the test cases are not ready, then there is no point of starting my testing. So the same way exit criteria should be all integration test cases are executed completely without any defects. No outstanding or severity defects. There are no issues to fixing. Okay, there are no high level severity defects, and every summary report also ready by testing. Okay, then only your testing is completed, that is mean exit criteria. If you talk about entry exit criteria means these technical words can bounce into the very high level, so that they will get to know that this candidate is very technically strong because they know each and every piece. Clear, guys? So you always you
Sir,
should use the technical keyword. So the minute how much you know doesn't matter, but how you are playing in a smart role in interview, that is very important. See, in my regression testing, I need to say what is my entry and exit criteria. My entry criteria should be a regression test plan reviewed by my manager or my scrum master or my BA. Then regression test cases to be reviewed, because for my release, what are the regression test cases are required? Okay, how many future testing is completed? So all this my entry, these are my exit criteria. Okay, so I will give you this document, guys. This is very very important. Make sure that keep in your mind, always be ready. If somebody say test strategy, you need to explain each and everything. So now test management. Okay, so for our project we need a one test manager, one test lead and testers, right? These three people are playing a major role. So what test manager will do? So these are the test manager responsibilities. These are the test lead. These are the testers. Clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
After that, we are going to test case management. Okay, test cases, test steps, traceability, test execution, non-functional test cases. So these are comes under the test management. Again, where are you creating all these test cases? Whether you are using X-ray, Jira, or else are you using any Excel, or are you using any HPLM, any other tools? Okay, that you need to define. Okay, see here all test cases and steps will be maintained in a MS Excel sheet. But in MNC companies, usually they follow some Jira X-ray. Okay, and it should be reviewed and approved by stakeholders. Then only we will start our test execution. So we are going to write test cases for our bank project in soon. Okay, so now what is severity? What is severity 2, severity 3? Okay, so severity, we already talk about something. Suppose if ambulance is coming in the road, so what is the severity? Ambulance or car?
Ambulance.
Okay, because ambulance is the high priority. Everybody has to give the, suppose ambulance and police vehicle both are coming. Which one is the first priority? Ambulance or police vehicle?
Ambulance.
Yes. So police vehicle is severity 2, but ambulance priority 1. Clear? So now you know the severity, right? The impact, right? So that is the severity 1. You guys can go through this documentation. Okay, management information reporting. Okay, so what are the tools we are going to use? So we need to say, see, this is a baby testing, and this app is only supporting Android devices. For that, I need a Genymotion Android emulator, and also the purpose of this tool is to app testing on the Android mobile devices, baby app testing on Apple phone. So I need an iPhone emulator to test this. Okay, bug tracking, I need a MS Excel. Whatever bugs I'm coming, and clarification log also MS Excel, because this project is very low budget project. Okay, they want immediately to release into the market, so that's why we just committed these are the tools. Okay, now test environment, whatever test environments we have, QA stays, whatever environments we will provide, otherwise we will. Okay, then what are the risk and mitigations? What is risk means? Suppose tomorrow there is a rain, if you are not taking umbrella, that is a risk. Okay, what is the mitigation? If you need to carry a umbrella, so this is risk, this is your mitigation. Clear? So always communication between a development and testing team may lead into the different errors, so confusions or delays. Every day if we have a scrum calls, this problem can identify. So that is my mitigation. Every day stand up calls are required. So risk is there could be a chance of the communication between testers and BA and developers. So these are the different risk and these are the mitigations. Clear, guys? So the assumptions and dependencies, if you have any assumptions, we need to write. If you have any dependencies by any team, then you need to inform that. Okay, DevOps team not ready for server, so we are not going to test, or we are not going to ready. So, and we say all tools are not ready by admin team, so we are not ready for anything to execution. That is called dependency. We need to tell. Okay, and also deliverables, test strategy, functional test plan and scenarios, functional test cases, test reports. All these we are going to hand out to the customer once we are done with our testing. Okay, so and here all the milestone tasks, test strategy preparation, when are you going to start, when are you going to end, test strategy review and approval, test plan and scenarios, when are you going to start, when are you going to complete, test cases, test case review, functional testing, test reports, project sign up. We need to provide each and every timeline. That is what Anu was talking about, timelines. Clear? So this is the high level of, so sorry, still I have few more. Okay, so that is the high level. Okay, test strategy. So these are the modules. So baby app, user registration, integration, login module, forget, user profile, home page, health booklet. Okay, all these are the modules. Same like sign up, new account, customer account, everything. Whatever we have, similar functionalities which is there in the baby app. Clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so next time if somebody asks you test strategy means, you can give each and every piece of test strategy. Okay, test plan means only we are talking within the sprint. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So Mahesh, you want to take?
Yeah, Satya.
Yeah. Let me stop and you can take control.
I'm not able to share, Satya. Maybe you have to stop it.
Yeah. Now
Hello?
check.
Yeah, I think you have to stop the screen sharing, then I can start.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So in the last session, we have discussed about the basics of Selenium WebDriver and how we can interact with the browser and how we can enter any inputs to the browser, right? So this is about interacting with the web application. So for example, let's take 3 manual test cases, how we have to test. For example, I wanted to test login functionality. Okay. So this is a home page of this particular website. I click on sign in. So there could be, for example, there could be one positive scenario and there could be multiple negative scenarios, right? For example, positive scenarios is if I enter valid username, valid email address and password and click on login button, I am successfully logged into the portal. So that is the only one happy path scenario. Okay, but in terms of negative cases, there could be multiple scenarios. Whether your email address you entered is incorrect, whether the password you entered in is incorrect. Okay, and for example, if you are trying to log in without entering email address, that is one negative scenario, and you are trying to log in without entering password, that is one negative scenario. So in order to test a single functionality, there could be n number of negative scenarios. Depends upon the complexity of that particular form. Okay, so for example, I'm not entering any email address, I'm just entering password. So will it allow me to log in? No, right?
No.
So, so what happens if I just try enter the password, I ignore to enter email address and click on sign in. So it should show me an error message, right? So this email field is required. So this is one type of negative scenario, negative test case. Okay. So whenever user is trying to log in without entering email address, we are expecting this particular error message is displayed in the UI. So this is one scenario. Okay. So I'm for example purpose, I'm taking 3 examples. One is successful login and invalid credentials, and third one is entering blank, trying to log in without entering one of the mandatory field. So earlier we have already written code for successful login, right? So these are the different kinds of test scenarios where each and every scenario has to follow some unique process, like entering email, entering password and clicking sign in. This is a common step. We can use the same thing across all the test cases, right? So in order to avoid the duplication of code, we have to follow some framework approach. So what is the main advantage of using framework is, so it gives a flexibility for the developers to developers or SDETs to write their automation test scripts in a well structured manner, so that everyone can use their code and someone's code will be used by themselves. So in order to reduce the lines of code and to organize the structures and to organize your test cases, test data and environments, so framework will support there are multiple types of frameworks. So this framework will help you to organize your test framework or test repository. So for example, I'm giving you an example of TestNG. So TestNG is one of the test automation framework where it will be useful for, where developers will also use for their unit testing, and SDETs used for this integration or automation test suite. So TestNG provides different kinds of annotations. So these are the different types of annotations. I'll explain when we should use, but most of the times, so at the rate before test, at the rate after test, and at the rate test, these are the 3 common annotations that every SDET use most of the times. And there are some cases we have to use the some other annotations also, but I'll explain in detail. Okay, so for now we have 3 test cases that we have to automate. Okay, so I'm using TestNG as a framework. Okay, let's remove this. I'll explain this later. For example, I created a test-ng class. Always the test classes should be under src test Java, and this is the test class. So this is the industry practice to keep all of your test cases under src test Java, and this is your test Java class. Okay. So I'll try to write all these 3 test cases here. Test successful login. And similarly, I'll add 2 more scenarios. Test error message for invalid credentials. And third is test error message for blank email. So these are my 3 different test cases. This is a happy path scenario, and these 2 are negative scenarios. So the first step that I have to do is, hello. Okay, so in the first step, I'll just make a copy the same code that we have written here. Okay.
Mahesh, we have another 5 minutes, Mahesh. So then do we need to record another session? Can we quickly join? Can we end this? And
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, sure.
Guys, you guys can rejoin again immediately. So guys, automation is very important. Please be focused very much, okay? Because automation is one of the very important role in the current market. If you know automation, you will get a lot of opportunities, guys. So functional testing 40%, automation 60 to 70% opportunities, guys.
I'm unable to hear anything.
Yeah, Mahesh, we are not able to hear you.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Yes.
So yeah, so this is in this particular test case, I'm trying to log in with a valid credentials. These 3 statements we already have discussed, and now I'm trying to click on sign in button here. I'm trying to enter email and the password. I wanted to click on login button here. So first of all, I want to get the locator of this particular element, right? So right click on that particular element, inspect. So after you click on inspect, you can see the source code of that particular page. You can again, you wanted to point to that particular button, click here. So this is the button corresponding to the whatever you are seeing in the UI web page. Okay. So what is the idea of this particular thing? For button, ID is login. So as we already discussed, if any element that has ID, go for that. So once you click on login, how do you make sure that you are successfully logged in? I entered valid credentials and click on sign in button. So if you entered login credentials, then only it will allow you to log in. So if you are seeing, for example, how do you make sure you are successfully logged in? Because you can see this profile button here, right? So you have to make sure you, once you logged in, you are able to see this particular icon, because without login, you won't be able to see this particular icon. So let's take XPath of this. See, you can see this is a image tag and we have SRC, okay? Default user profile pic. So you can write an XPath with the help of this tag. So let me frame an XPath for this. So to write an XPath, this is the syntax. First you give double slash and the tag name is img. Okay. So here you have two attributes. One is class and one is src. Not this one, right? So this is src and one is class. But if you just type image, there are 5 different matches. So in this particular web page, there are different 5 image tags. So I want to verify this particular element is displayed or not, right? So we have to frame an XPath for that. So I'll write an XPath with attribute called src. So contains is a method that XPath supports. Give a parenthesis and src is attribute of this particular tag, and give comma here. So in src, what we are trying to expect. So here user profile pic dot png. So this is what we are asserting. So if once the user is logged in successfully, we are trying to expect this particular element is present or not. If this particular element is present, that means we are successfully logged into. Okay. And in TestNG, in order to verify anything, we have a class called asset. I'll explain. There are asset provides multiple assets. See, you can see TestNG provides this asset class. So this asset class will give you a lot of assertion methods. For example, let me show you what are different asset methods it provides. See, it provides asset equals. Asset equals, what it does is we have to pass what is expected and what is the actual behavior in the web page. And we can also see asset true also. Asset true, asset false, asset equals. These are the majorly these three assertions SDETs uses. So let me take an example here. Since we are trying to validate the user profile icon is displayed here or not, let me go with asset true. So here what we are trying to do, we are trying to verify after user clicks on login button, the user profile icon is displayed or not, right? So I'm trying to identify that particular user profile icon with the help of XPath. So XPath, whatever that we have written in the Chrome browser, we have to paste the same XPath. Okay. So now what it does, it identifies this particular element, and at the end you have to pass is displayed. So what this method is, if this particular element is displayed properly, it returns a true value. If it is not displayed, it returns a false. But what we are doing here, we are verifying the result of this entire thing should be true. Otherwise, this particular test case will fail. For example, if this particular web element is not displayed in the UI, so it returns a false. So we are asserting false with true. So that means this particular test case will fail. Okay, let me try to run this particular test case. So it is successfully logged in, but our test case is failed due to some other reason, because there is a loading symbol is there, right? So while the application is getting loaded, we are trying to assert this particular element is displayed or not. So we have to pass some weight. So in Selenium, it supports there are a couple of weights. So for example, we have maybe we can cover this topic thoroughly later. But for example, let me take Selenium provides different kinds of weights. That is implicit weight, explicit weight, and fluent weight. So why we have to use these weights is, so here if you just saw an example. As soon as you click on login button, you are trying to verify this particular element is present. But in the real time, the application takes some time, right? 5 to 10 seconds to load the application, and you have to you then only you can see this profile icon. But whereas what you are doing, as soon as you click on sign in button, you are trying to verify this particular PNG is displayed or not. So that is the reason why your test case is failed, because uh, within a 1 second you are trying to verify this particular element is displayed or not, but this particular element is not displayed immediately, so we have to give a wait here. This is right. Let me use thread.sleep for now, but later we'll discuss about all 3 different types of sleeps. So let me take a pause of 5 seconds here. So after you click on sign in button, you are waiting 5 seconds so that by that time the application will load properly. Then you can assert this. Let me rerun this. See, now application is loaded properly, and now we are trying to assert this particular element is displayed or not. See, now it got passed. So this is a successful scenario. And similarly, we can write this is for test error message for invalid credentials. Okay, so just copy all the lines here. So here, let me pass an invalid credentials. Okay, this is test@email.com is the valid credentials, and this is a invalid credentials. So what happens now? Even after clicking on sign in button and you wait for 5 seconds, you are trying to assert this particular profile icon is displayed. Here, what should happen? This should fail, right?
Yes, it.
So let me log in, log out, click on sign in button. So this is the invalid credentials. So after you click on login button, you can see an error message. Now what you have to do is you have to verify this incorrect login details message is displayed or not, right? So let me inspect the XPath for this. See, this particular error is having incorrect details is the ID. Since it is having ID, so here what you have to do is you have to get the error text and assert with the expected error text. Let me remove this complete thing. So here we are expecting an error message from the UI after you entered invalid credentials. So you can use assert equals method. Okay. Here, first of all, you have to pass the expected, what you are expecting. Sorry, actual and expected. So actual means what exactly you are getting from the UI, right? driver dot find element by dot id. So ID of that particular error message is incorrect details dot get text. So this particular method, what it does is by identifying that particular element and it display the what is the text present in that particular element, right? And if there are any spaces or something, we have to trim that. Trim, what it does is it removes the extra spaces before and after the particular sentence or string. Okay, so now what you are expecting here? So this is the message that you are expecting. See, so you are expecting when you enter invalid credentials, the error message should display incorrect login details. Please try again. So this is what your next test case. So this won't take that much time. Let me reduce it to 3 seconds. Now execute this. See, you can see incorrect login details. Please try again here. So now this test case got passed. For example, if you wanted to test whether this is working fine, for example, instead of verifying this, just let me add an extra character here. For example, I'm expecting this message, an extra. This is an invalid message, but I'm just showing you for the purpose of if you are expecting an incorrect message, it should fail, right? Let me rerun this. This time it should fail because you are expecting an incorrect error message. So it is displayed properly, but you are expecting an incorrect string, right? So it failed. You can see this is the assertion error. So you are expecting this message, but the actual message is this one. That's why this particular test got failed. Understood? Okay, let me remove this as well. And our third test case is I'll just enter email address. I will not pass any password and try to click on login. I want to verify the password field is required. Maybe our test case is verifying email address, right? I'll just enter an empty value here. I will enter some password, click login. The email field is required. This is the error message that we wanted to verify in our third test case. See? So here, this particular element doesn't have any ID. Okay. So how we can frame an error, frame an XPath if that particular element is not having any ID. So this particular tag is having a class as error. @class is equals to error. You might have multiple, and the previous one also have the class as error, and this one doesn't have ID, but this one has ID. So in this case, what you can do is you can use parent element. With the help of parent element, you can identify a unique XPath for this. So this particular error message will come under form group, right? You can add the parent tag of this div @class equal to form group. Form group. Okay, spelling up. See, now it is identify only unique element with this XPath. So you can use this XPath in your third test case. So let me copy all this text again. So here what we are trying to do is in the email field, we are not entering anything. Like you can just pass an empty string like this. If you are passing in a double string without any character, that means it is not entering anything into the input field. And password you are sending, trying to click on login button. And now we are expecting an error message should be displayed below the email field. So now we have an XPath of that particular error message. Pass the XPath here. And the expected error message for this is the email field is required. This is the error message that you wanted to get when you don't enter email address, right? So this is our third test case. See, now we can see email field is required in the UI. The same is happening correctly, so it got passed. Okay, now we have three different test cases. So each and every test case have some set of lines which are required, which are happening frequently, right? Each and every test case that we are doing here is repeatedly. Like we are launching the particular website in each and every scenario. We must and should launch this particular thing, right? So in order to avoid that duplication, we can use a tag that TestNG provides is before test. So whatever the code that you write under before test, this particular code will execute before executing any of your test cases. See, so this the launching of the application is common for each and every test case. You can move that particular line under before test method. Just remove here and remove here. So that's why the framework is very helpful to avoid duplication. This is also can be moved, but whatever the value that we are trying to pass is different to each and every test case, right? So in later classes, I'll explain this how we can move this also into a reusable way. So I'll explain that. But for now, so this is the only thing that we are doing commonly for each and every test case. And there is one more thing that we have to do is after you launch the launch the browser and open a website, you have to close the browser. Otherwise, your system performance will reduce because you see there are different Chrome browsers are still open. So as soon as you launch and open the browser and your test case execution is completed, you have to close that. So in order to close a Chrome instance, Selenium provides a method called driver.quit. So that particular line can also be added at the end of each test case. So to avoid the duplication again, Selenium provides a after test annotation. Sorry, these annotations provided by TestNG after test. So after performing each and every test, whatever the code that you are adding in after test, that will be executed. So after my test execution is completed, I wanted to quit the browser. So what this particular line will do is once your test execution is completed, it will closes that particular instance of the Chrome browser. So here we have to manually close all these browsers, right? Instead of doing that programmatically, it will close the browser once the test execution is completed. Okay, so now we have three test cases that requires launching of this particular application and quitting the browser. Whatever that is required across all your test cases, that you can move those lines of code in under these two sections. Now let me run entire test class together, see what happens. First time it opens the browser, and this is the second test case, and this is the third one. Okay, so where is that? And one more thing, in TestNG, the test execution will be happen in an alphabetical order. Means whatever the test case that comes in an alphabetical manner, what test case comes first, it will execute for the first time. I mean, the priority would be alphabetical order. Even if you have written in what manner you wrote, the execution happens in a alphabetical manner. Okay, and we'll see why it is failed. No such element, unable to locate element. This time it took more time then. Okay, maybe I can increase this. So this is about framework, but later our classes we can discuss about more about the TestNG framework and what are different annotations and the attributes that TestNG provides. Okay, so any questions so far? Hello.
Yeah, Mahesh, I think we are good. Yeah, we can end this. Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you all for joining. Let me know if you have any questions in the group also. I'll be able to help you.
Guys, do daily basis practices, otherwise it will be a challenge. Okay.
Yes.
Mahesh,
Yeah,
I just have a concern. Can you please copy this test case and paste it in the chat so that we can practice
yeah, sure.
for reference?
I'll do
Yes,
that.
you do it, I think, Mahesh.
Yeah, in maybe in Git, what I'll do is I'll create a folder with the today's date, and from there everyone can get the details, right?
You
Okay.
That
guys
will.
know, right, how to get a clone and all, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
on
yes.
daily basis, Mahesh is trying to commit his changes so that you guys can pull your changes. And
Okay,
whoever
so
wants to write his
Okay.
pieces, you guys can also write your piece of code there. Whatever you do practices, commit. Write your own file, just commit there.
Okay.
Right, Mahesh?
yeah. So for example, I wrote a file test framework test. Maybe in the same structure, you can add your own name and try to pull the code and push the code so that you will get habituated to the process. Okay. Maybe maybe you are writing the same code but maintain your own names like a test framework test underscore your name dot java. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
I'll let you
which
know the GitHub URL once my commit is completed.
Mhm.
I'll post in the WhatsApp channel. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Mahesh. Thank you.
Okay.
So
Bye.
which kind of questions interviewer can ask in that? Like one of the interviewer asked me what XPath should I use that and the command should I get in front of that XPath like that he can ask me.
Yeah, you will ask, for example, in previous session, I have explained you, I think. So,
Mm.
what are the different types of experts? He will ask that particular question. So, your answer should be like, there are two types of experts. One is absolute expert and one is relative expert. And he will ask you what is the difference between absolute expert and the relative expert. So, absolute expert means you have to write an expert starting from the parent node to the element that you are trying to locate. And the relative XPath means you have to frame an XPath with respect to its parent tag or with respect to its attributes. So that is a relative XPath. And
Okay.
in XPath, there could be multiple functions it XPath supports. So just now we have used a contains statement, right? Contains is one of the method that XPath provides. Similarly, normalized space. Normalized space is the method. What it does is, for example, you are trying to frame an XPath with the help of a text, but that text is having some extra leading and trailing spaces. So what normalized space method will do is it will ignore the leading and trailing spaces for that particular text. So that is one different type of function that XPath provides. And there are some other XPaths called functions that XPath supports is following sibling. Following sibling means you are trying to find an element, but there is no way to uniquely identify that particular element. But with the help of its parent element, you will be able to, for example, maybe if you see real time, that will be helpful. For example, is there any tag that are both siblings? See, there are two different. Tags. These are siblings, right? So this is the parent, and this is one of the siblings for this div, and this is one of the sibling for, I mean, one of the child for this parent. The scenario here is you are trying to identify this particular element, but let's assume this doesn't have any attributes that you are able to identify this particular element uniquely, but you are able to identify this particular element. For example, it has some ID. Okay, let me show you. This is div class drop down, right? // button @ID equal to this ID. Right. @ID. Why it is not identifying?
What happened, Mahesh?
Oh, it is not identifying for some reason.
Take
So
customer maybe ID drop down menu. One is there.
so if we cannot identify that ID, so can we use the div at the red class?
Yeah, you can use, like, for example, you can use like this.
Yeah, that is called customized XPath now, whatever we are taking. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Drop down. So this is with the help of this XPath, there are two unique matches, right? So now we wanted to identify this button. Okay. See, now we are able to identify this button. Now you are trying to identify an element below that. This is a following sibling, right? Now we are able to identify this, and now you are trying to identify this, but it doesn't have any unique identifier. You can use a concept called following sibling. Following sibling. FOLLOWING, or maybe I'll remove this. See, now it is able to identify. So what it does is, it first of all identify its parent element, and this is the first sibling, and this is the second sibling. So these are there are n number of examples in XPath. By practicing only, you will get good understanding of this. Try to explore all the elements, whether you are able to locate uniquely or not. Let's explore that. And if you are facing any issues or any challenges in identifying an element, there could be any way, a way, but you have to explore the options that XPath provides. Okay.
Hmm.
Any other questions?
Can you please provide yesterday's recording, because I didn't see any upload there on YouTube channel.
Yeah, so I'm not sure because it was done by Suma, so I'm not sure because everything has in Suma control only. So because now going forward, Suma is going to record all the sessions. That's what Mohini. I will try to check out and then again I will ask Suma to upload again, or else I will connect with. Not an issue.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah, no issues. Okay, I think we are good. So I can upload right away. Then you guys can good to go. Okay, thank you guys.
You.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.